So I admit, apologize. I messed up a bit. Been very busy. Honest to God, forgot. So this video is going to be a bit shorter, but probably get that part. Still have time to finish it. Apologize that it's late. Just honestly, look my Go ahead and get.
Thank you for helping me with my training again today, Professor. I'm gonna keep at it
Oh,
for a while longer, so you go on ahead.
I don't think that.
I can't. Not when I'm right on the cusp of using my power to greater potential. Surely you yourself are tired. Just don't worry about me, okay?
And there it goes. I feel like I'd be very familiar.
I'm sorry, Professor. It was careless of me to continue, despite how fatigued I clearly was. I
Yeah, I kind of.
probably should have listened to you. Now I've made a mess of things. I can't help but feel the need to rush in all things constantly. You get that way when you realize you haven't got much time. I believe I've mentioned that House Ordelia was, at one time, being controlled by people from the Empire. During
It in
that
the
time,
story.
strange people, mages perhaps, came and performed rituals on all the youth within my family. With the Empire monitoring our every move, my parents could do nothing but watch in horror as all of this unfolded. One after another, the children died, until the only one left was me. You know, my hair wasn't always this color. During their experiments, they'd been doing things with my blood. One morning, I awoke like this, a shock of white hair, all trace of pigment gone. Upon seeing me, the mages were delighted. They realized that their experiments had finally succeeded. Sure enough, they ran a test and saw that two crests coexisted within me. Losing pigment from my hair wasn't the only loss. The mages informed me that my lifespan was now greatly shortened. 5 more years at most, perhaps less. Shortly thereafter, the mages lost interest in me, and we never saw them in the Ordelia household again.
Probably gifted someone else.
Since all that, our family has been in decline. It's challenging now even to govern our territory. After all my mother and father have suffered, I at least want them to have peace as they grow older. That is all I wish for, but I haven't much time to ensure it comes to pass. It's not like what's been done to me can be undone.
Find out for
Professor,
ourselves.
the only way I can conceive of would be to remove my crest somehow. But I don't know if that's even remotely possible. Even if it were, I wouldn't be of much use to you and the others without my crest.
Our story.
You sound
Find it.
resolved. I'll allow your resolve to bolster my own. Thank you, Professor.
I enjoy putting it, but you're welcome. Anything.
Hey, Professor, can we talk?
No.
I feel terrible about the last time we spoke. I was trying to apologize and just ended up losing my temper again. I'm really sorry. I figured
Hot-headed.
you'd say that, but I still feel like an idiot. Somehow, I just have a hard time keeping my feelings in check around you. And I think if I don't just tell you what I'm thinking, we'll never be able to have a normal conversation. So, let me clear the air. I want us to, engage.
Engage in what?
Yeah, wait, what? No, I mean in a duel. I know it's a sudden thing to ask, but I'm not going to feel settled until I know where I stand. Would you do that for me?
Sure, why not?
Good. Don't hold back, okay? I want to see you at your absolute best. Phew. You got me. I'm completely outmatched. Maybe.
Sure, you did fine.
But you were definitely stronger. Honestly, that's what I needed to see. You're a true successor to Captain Gerald's style of swordplay. I almost felt like you were him. I thought I was competing with you. But that's as pointless as competing against him would have been. So instead of that, I'm going to focus on keeping the promise I made to him. Captain Gerald said that if anything should happen to him, I'd have to support you in his place. He didn't sound serious at the time, but it was right before he... you know, before we lost him. So, I've decided. I'd like to do just what he said. I know I'm not as strong as I need to be, but I swear to you, I'll train until I am. What do you say? Can I call you my employer? Yes, it's official. I'll protect you no matter what.
Right there.
Professor, oh, don't worry. It's nothing.
Sound like nothing.
Actually, could we talk for a bit? Somewhere a little more private? I'm just gonna come right out and say it. I find you a little difficult to be around. I know. I'm your student and you're just trying to watch out for me. But the way you look at me sometimes, it's like you're seeing right through me. Don't worry. I know you don't mean anything bad by it. I'm just too self-conscious, I guess. The thing is, I don't have anything to call my own. No land, no birthright, no fortune. Little knowledge or battle skill. I think that's why I always clung to my popularity as a diva. Even after leaving the stage behind, I sort of kept up the act. When I look at you, it's like your eyes are accusing me. Telling me that you see right through it. That's what I mean when I say it's difficult being around you. Hey, this might be nuts, but maybe you could show me some kind of weakness of yours?
I have no.
Oh, come on, Professor. Everyone has some kind of weakness. You know mine. If I know one of yours, maybe I'll feel less... I don't know... vulnerable. Excellent. Well then, don't mind me. I bet I know your weakness. It's not mental, is it? It's physical. You're ticklish.
Really?
Here, I'll
That's
prove
what
it.
you're going for?
That's right. The next time you gaze into my soul, I know just how I'll retaliate. Professor? What's with you? Why aren't you reacting to anything I'm doing? Come on. I thought that was funny. I swear, it's like your heart isn't even beating.
Actually, my heart isn't beating.
Don't be so silly. Huh? It really isn't beating? Is what I'd say if I were more gullible. You're just fooling around, Professor. I'm not sure how you did it, but that was a good one.
All that's left is Balthus. Hey, Balthus, buddy.
I see. By any means necessary, then. Before the war's end. I'm covered, but just to be safe, I need you to check on my mother and Kupala.
Rough time, buddy.
Still following me, huh? We have got to work on those manners, pal. Unless you really meant that bit about protecting me. That's where my mom was born and raised. I pay a spy money I don't have to keep an eye on the place. Whether I'm above the dirt or below it. It's up to me to make sure my stepmother can't get to my mom. No doubt about it. She's been honing her crazy plans lately. All because I've taken to fighting at your side. She thinks I'm making a name for myself before my glorious return to House Albrecht. Being delusional is her sport. There's little advantage to her going after my mom, but she's unpredictable. Gotta stay vigilant. Guess I haven't talked about her. After her and my pop split, she returned home. Where she's from, it's kind of an odd place. You know the folks who live in the mountains of the Alliance? Guessing that's a no. Few do. Imagine a place with no influence to speak of. Nestled in the mountains on the Almyran border. That's Kupala. Well, they're not mountain goats. It's not like they never interact with the Lords of the Alliance. They're incredibly isolated, though. Even their trade relations are remarkably limited. Doubt that'll change. The land lacks resources worth fighting over. Probably for the best, honestly. Oh, but back to my mom. She was different. An exception to the rule in Kupala. She left the mountains, was rescued by my dad, and fell madly in love with him.
Wanna say sounds like destiny.
Ah, the 1 million bullion question. Of course not, he's a noble. She isn't. Acceptance was never in the cards. My birth helped matters, but only a little. House Albrecht just wasn't where she belonged. My dad was in a tough spot. He was obligated to marry a fellow noble and produce a fitting heir. Nobody'd want to live out their days where they're utterly unwelcome. So my mom returned to Kupala. Then it happened. I was enrolled in the Officers' Academy at Garreg Mach, and everything changed. During my enrollment examination, they discovered that I bear the major crest of Chevalier. My dad decided to resist his family's wishes and make me the head of the house after I graduated. Thing is, the truth of my special crest was kept a secret by decree of the church. He couldn't tell anyone about my prized bloodline, so I was forced to step down as the legitimate heir. It was for the best. My crest was inherited from mountain folk who prefer to keep to themselves. Imagine what would happen to Kupala if it got out. We both know it would destroy their way of life. Too true. I'm guessing the church thought my crest would cause trouble in Fodlan. But don't get me wrong. No matter what life's thrown at me, I'm no victim. Like I've said,
Certainly.
I prefer it this way. I've got to be free. Even if things were different, I'd still choose this life. But I can't let my mother and her people pay the price for keeping peace in Fodlan. Wouldn't be right. All I can do is make a name for myself in battle and secure enough power to protect them. Failure isn't an option.
Not tonight. Lilith.
Hi, Ingrid. That was a great training session today, wasn't it?
It was indeed, Claude. It's so nice to see you.
Things have been pretty busy lately, though. I hope you're taking the time to rest whenever you have the chance.
I thank you for the concern. You are ever so kind.
I've finally got a free day tomorrow, so I was planning to sleep through the morning and laze around all day.
That sounds so lovely. Perhaps I should do the same.
Ingrid, will you just stop it already? You still doing that shtick?
Whatever do you mean?
Are you feeling all right? You're acting so demure. It's kind of creeping me out.
You can't be serious. I always knew you were a layabout. But I see now you're also an insensitive nitwit, too. If I lecture you, you complain. If I act pleasant, you also complain.
Ah, you switched back.
Please, tell me how to behave. At least if you're commandeering my behavior, I'll get less of an earful of your complaints. Have you ever even once considered thinking before you speak? And you wonder why people so rarely trust you.
Ah, right. I'm sorry. I guess that was kind of insensitive.
Wow, quite the apology. Sounds a lot like one of your myriad excuses. Do you really expect empty apologies to help you get your way?
I'm suddenly feeling dizzy. Oh, so dizzy. We'll have to talk about this later.
There you go again. You and your excuses. I thought if I made extra efforts to be pleasant, he and I might finally interact without bickering. I just don't know what the best approach is with him.
There is no best approach.
Were you listening to everything I just said? Ugh. I thought you'd run off.
I told you before, didn't I? You're better off as your normal, prickly self. I don't mind getting lectured by you, so keep on doing that from time to time, okay? Just maybe not all of the time. Anyway, oh, the dizziness. Bye.
As if an occasional lecture could ever cut it.
Impressive as ever. It's always satisfying to see such skill in motion.
It's nothing to boast about. Just part of the job.
Sure, but I hear there wasn't a knight out there who could match your skill at reconnaissance and infiltration missions.
Don't forget assassination and coercion. Is there someone you need killed?
Ooh, so violent. Why would you jump to that conclusion?
You went out of your way to find me. I thought you might need a favor.
Sorry to disappoint, but I didn't come to request an assassination. I just want to talk.
With me?
Of course. You've piqued my interest for a while now. A little birdie told me you were born in Dagda. Is that true? That's pretty far away, beyond even Bridget to the west. So, what brought you to Fodlan?
I worked as a mercenary in Dagda. That is until I was defeated in battle against the Empire and left for dead.
I see. I'm surprised they didn't take you as their prisoner.
I know how to conceal myself.
Yeah, of course you do. Still, with your particular skill set, couldn't you make your way back to Dagda whenever you please?
They have a particular set of skills?
That is true. I could return if I really wanted. But my interests have changed. For now, this is where I belong.
Where you belong, huh? That's heavy stuff. I wonder if this is where I really belong.
I wouldn't know. You need to figure that out yourself.
Ambush! I knew you were out to get me!
Ah! Bernadetta, please, calm down.
Calm down? Sure, why shouldn't I? Nothing's more relaxing than being spied on! I just love it when huge scary men lurk behind me with their insidious smiles and heinous schemes! You just want to make me a laughingstock! Ruin me in front of everyone! I know it!
Please, listen. I only came to hear you play. That's it. Promise. I'm not gonna make you perform in front of everyone else. I just wanted to hear you myself.
Just you? Nobody else? Really?
Really? I kept trying to ask, but you always ran away.
That doesn't mean you can just watch me creepily from the shadows, you know. That would scare anyone.
You're right, I'm sorry. I just didn't know how else to get your attention. You get so scared. But it looks like I end up scaring you anyway. I'll leave you alone, Bernadetta. I really just wish I could have heard you play.
Raphael?
Ah, Hilda. Business in town?
Yes, I'm buying some art supplies.
Oh, to replenish what you used on our book, I presume. Allow me to compensate you.
No need. I use them for my own crafting and accessory making too. By the way, your tales seem quite popular. I saw a big crowd of kids at the church.
Wonderful to hear. We made the right choice leaving it there.
I also heard a mother scolding her child by saying, if you keep lazing around, you'll turn into a fox. Though, as long as there's a friendly squirrel around, being a fox doesn't sound so bad.
That was not my intention. Perhaps the story was better off in its original form after all.
Anyway, I guess you've got something to keep you busy after the war. Originally, these stories were for Flayn, but now there are lots of people who love them. The kids are looking forward to your next release. You don't want to disappoint them.
I do wonder how appropriate it is to sit around and write children's books in an era of great change.
An era of great change. Isn't that exactly when kids need something to hold on to? They're the future of Fodlan, after all.
Astute observation. But if I am to continue in this trade, I will require more of your assistance.
Really? You're a successful author, and you still want to use my lousy illustrations?
I need an artist who can appreciate the message, and who can draw pictures that resonate with children. Your art has a certain careless quality that I feel matches my work splendidly.
A careless quality? That doesn't sound like a compliment.
Did you not purchase those art supplies today in the hopes of continuing with this work?
Well, yes. I guess I can stick with it until the war is over.
Such lukewarm commitment. No matter. We can consider the post-war situation when we come to it.
I'm pretty fond of being a fox, but becoming a squirrel wouldn't be the worst thing. I'll admit, I like seeing Seth pour his heart into these stories.
What was that?
Didn't say a word. Let's get to work on that sequel. Whew, guess that's enough for now.
You're improving, Leonie. No doubt a result of your new training routine.
Right, about that. I've been doing everything you said, but
Something wrong?
not with my archery, but I'm not getting any better at dealing with bugs. Even with all the practice, I just can't bring myself to look at a real live spider.
You're still aiming at the spiders I instructed you to draw? Let me see one.
Sure. Here.
What is this?
What do you mean, what is it? It's a spider!
Ah, yes. I see now. It's quite... well, it's...
What's so funny?
Whew. I'm sorry. I lost my composure for a moment there. Your drawing is absolutely ridiculous.
Ridiculous? That's what they look like, isn't it?
Do you know how many legs a spider has? Or what its body looks like? Or ever seen one at all?
I just told you I can't even look at the little monsters.
A lack of subtlety no doubt learned from your former mentor. Regardless, aiming at this target won't help you overcome your fears. Here, use one of my drawings instead. Consider it an apology for my outburst.
Oh, why did you have to be so detailed?
This much detail is necessary if you wish to identify your enemy's weak points.
Oh, it's too much. I can't stand the sight of it.
This is guaranteed to help overcome your fears and improve your archery in the process.
So, archery's secondary now, is it?
You want to be a peerless mercenary, right? You'll never accomplish that if you're afraid of something as innocuous as a bug.
When you put it that way, I guess I'll have to. Okay, Shamir, you've talked me into it. First, I'll take out the drawings, and then I'll move on to the real thing.
Excellent. I look forward to seeing fewer spiders around here.
Ah, Dorothea! The dining hall seems so much brighter with you here.
30. I must say, you are quite adept with flattery. Please, give me some more.
Flattery? No, I was not... There you go with that attitude again. Why do you reserve such cold treatment for me and me alone? Do you hate me, Dorothea? Or have you some other reason to avoid my company?
I underestimated you. I assumed your noble upbringing had dulled your perception. But you got it right on your first try. I hate you.
Huh, I was right. Might I ask why you find me so despicable? I can scarcely guess.
Don't waste another minute thinking about it.
That will not do. I do not think you would hate a person for no reason.
Perhaps. How's this? If you can guess why, I'll let you know if you're right. The brains of us common folk are so simple, it should be pretty easy for a big shot noble to sort out.
Very well. I cannot walk away from a challenge. I have no choice but to chance a guess. You are always making fun, calling me a big shot and so forth. Perhaps you think all nobles are... No, it cannot be that simple.
Oh?
What can't be that simple?
Please, will you not give me a clue?
Well, let me see. A good clue? I know. It's because you're like a bee.
That ought to be enough of a clue. So long, Ferdy.
A bee? I haven't the slightest. Perhaps because I am such a diligent worker?
Ah, Dorothea. What are you doing here?
I was actually waiting to see you.
Were you going to invite me out to dinner? I accept.
Yes, I was. I don't think it would be so bad to share a meal with you from time to time.
How about tonight? I'm busy tomorrow.
That's fine by me. What are you busy with, I wonder? Girls? And more girls?
Isn't it an unwritten rule not to ask about such things? But what a curious turn of events. Have you perhaps got an ulterior motive?
No ulterior motives. If you're worried, we can just pretend this conversation never happened.
No, wait! That's not what I meant. I just don't understand why you want my company now, when you've always been so cold to me. Have you perhaps fallen in love with me?
My stomach just got queasy. You know what? Maybe I'll eat on my own after all.
Fine, fine, I get it. You want someone to chase your loneliness away.
Something like that, yes. If you don't want to, I'll ask someone else.
Don't dream of it. It would be my pleasure, milady. And to be clear, the reason you chose to spend time with me is my family, yes? Or is it my crest? Both? I'm just curious about such things. Say I was a commoner. Would you still have invited me to dinner?
Is this really necessary for a simple dinner invitation? Actually, I have a question of my own. Say I was a hoarse-voiced old hag. Would you still be flirting with me? Would you still want to hold my hand and whisper sweet nothings?
That's a difficult question. I have nothing against mature women, but...
Even if you were an old man, I still would have invited you out. If you were a former noble exiled from his family, or an orphan from the streets, my heart cares not. Just kidding. I just wanted to try saying it. Of course it's better that you have money.
You little... Yeah, that's probably true. So, Dorothea, about that dinner?
It would be an honor to have you join me tonight. And let's not talk about things like this over dinner, okay?
Even if I was an old man or an orphan, huh?
Hello, Cyril. On a break?
Just figuring out what needs doing next. Why? You need something done?
Nothing like that. I was hoping to speak with you.
You want to talk?
Yes. You told me that you are happy so long as you can continue to work for the Archbishop. Have you considered that there might be other ways to find happiness?
Nope. Repaying my debt to Lady Rhea is all I want to do. Lady Rhea might not be around right now, but all the stuff I do, it's still for her.
What will you do once your debt is repaid?
I can never repay her.
You are possessed of a rare and admirable devotion. I too owe the Archbishop a debt, but repaying her is only one of the reasons I am here.
What you mean, one of the reasons you're here?
I mean that I have other motivations aside from that. If those motivations required me to be elsewhere, then I would be elsewhere.
Motivations?
Yes. I am fortunate enough to share common cause with the Archbishop. Thus, I am able to remain. Don't be mistaken. It is admirable to repay one's debts, but that alone should not define a person. While it is good to make peace with the past, it is also essential to look ahead to the future. What kind of future do you see for yourself? What can you do to work toward it? I would like you to think about what might make your future brighter.
I don't know if I understand you right. See, when Lady Rhea took me in, it was the first time I ever thought maybe I had a purpose. And I don't know what else I could wish for than that, you know?
I do not mean to trouble you. It's just that I cannot help but notice the way you squander your potential. It's as though you avert your gaze from it on purpose. Keep what I've said in the back of your mind, at least. You have plenty of time.
Okay, Seteth.
It's time I fessed up, Yurikins. I saw the whole thing.
What was it you think you saw?
It looked like you were singing to the children in the alley out back. And may I say, you were fantastic. Your performance hit me right in the heart. That was a song from Mittelfrank's Imperial Capital show, right? Ah, the good old days. You must have come back night after night if you remember it that well.
Perhaps a few times. I remember well how you looked upon that stage. You were the talk of the capital among all the nobles. Unsurpassable? Yes, that was it. It's hard to believe I'd run into that unsurpassable songstress in a place like this. Luck is on my side, as ever.
I couldn't convince you to sing tenor yourself, You're talented enough for it.
What are you getting at? Is this an invitation from the mystical songstress herself?
Male virtuosos are hard to come by. Would-be divas are a dime a dozen, but men? Not so much. And they have to be talented. As good as I am, which is very talented indeed. I think you have what it takes. If you're interested, I can...
Sorry, but no. No way in hell am I ever doing that.
Goodness, you could have stopped at no.
I can't think of anything more wretched than getting up on a stage to sing in front of a bunch of people.
You didn't seem to mind singing for those children.
The little ones weren't feeling well and couldn't sleep, so I sang them a lullaby to help. That's a far cry from standing on the same stage as you have with all of those stuffy nobles staring at me. Truthfully, I'm not brave enough for it.
Rein it in, Yurikins. It's the opera, not the battlefield. This isn't a life or death situation.
Fair enough. Sometimes I forget what's a real threat and what isn't. But I must ask you to never bring up singing again. Not to me. Not if you want to keep things amicable between us.
How can someone that good at singing hate it so much?
Okay, well, I'm just gonna pretend like that didn't happen. We're all done here. Long right now. So, that being said, sorry for the short video. Sorry that the way that it is. But I will be seeing you next time. Good one.